What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, we're diving back into the Spring Cup with a very fun team of Shadow Poliwrath, Ferrathorn, and Roserade. So a double grass backline. Poliwrath having access to Ice Punch does very well against the grass-type Pokemon that we see, and that Dynamic Punch. Think about Pokemon like Ferrathorn and Walrein, and even Lantern. It hits for a ton of damage, which is really good, and the safe swap of Roserade. Oh! It is so good with that Weather Ball spam that we can get ourselves Shield or Switch Advantage. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Poliwrath on the lead versus Ferrathorn. So not a good initial lead matchup. We're going to go ahead and swap out right away into our Roserade, and let's see what we draw out. We're going to draw out a Shadow Walrein right here. So what we're going to look to do is we will invest one shield into this matchup, hoping that we can get two shields on the back end of this. We're going to go ahead and go for a Weather Ball for the shield bait. Even if this lands, it still does a nice amount of neutral damage, but we do get a shield, which now allows us to go instantly for the Leaf Storm to boom the Walrein. No, they decided to shield, but look what we just did. We got ourselves two shields. Now, I will have to shield the Earthquake potentially here against Shadow Walrein, but this is going to give me a big opportunity to load up on a lot of energy. So I'm going to go ahead and give up that shield here. It is going to be the Earthquake, which now this gives me plenty of room to load up on as much energy as possible with Dynamic Punch and go ahead and go for it, as it's going to be one-shotting the Walrein right here. So boom, down goes the Walrein. In comes the Ferrathorn, and we do get to that Dynamic Punch in time on a CMP tie. So since this is going to land, it's not going to be enough to KO, so they do survive, but they do throw the Power Whip right here. Now, our only hope really is that there isn't a Shadow Mawile in the back. Boom! Down goes Poliwrath. We swap in. They actually have a Gastrodon in the back, so that's going to be a good game. They do decide to surrender right there. All right, moving into the next battle, we have Poliwrath on the lead versus Walrein. So a very good lead matchup, and honestly, our whole team does well. Roserade has the toughest matchup against the Walrein because of just how much damage we take from Icicle Spear. And did I say it goes for the Weather Ball earlier? Oh my gosh, I do this, and I know you guys watching the channel know I mix this up sometimes. I always think Walrein has Weather Ball. It doesn't. It has Icicle Spear. I got to get that out of my head. But we go ahead and shield the Earthquake, and now we're going to go ahead and go for a Dynamic Punch. My guess is they might be weak in the back. If there are Grass-type Pokemon back there, as they're deciding to double shield right here, they know I could have access to Ice Punch. So they're going to go ahead and try to go for double Earthquake, so I'm just going to double shield. So all shields are down. I'm going to go ahead and overload on energy, and they decide to swap into a Trevenant. This is beautiful! Trevenant unshielding Shadow Poliwrath. Going to be putting in some work. We're going to go ahead and go for the back-to-back right here. Not even going to mess around with them potentially getting to a Seed Bomb, even though they needed another fast move. And now, if that Walrein comes back in, it has to throw the Earthquake in order to take us out. We might just be able to win the race, as we do get to the Dynamic Punch in time. So, Trevenant went down. Walrein goes down. Boom! Final Pokemon is going to be a Roserade, which means we get to the Ice Punch in time. This Shadow Poliwrath 1v3'ing this team. Okay, I can't boom that. It almost 1v3'd. It almost 1v3'd, but it's close enough that it just did so much damage because of the coverage that it has with this moveset, the hard-hitting charge moves as well. It was beautiful, so good game. All right, moving to the next one, we have Poliwrath on the lead versus Lantern. So this is a very tough lead, but with Dynamic Punch, we can kind of soften it up later on. So we're going to go ahead and swap in that Roserade, and in comes a Shadow Abomasnow. This is something to fear right here, as it just does so much damage with Powder Snow, and thankfully, because it is Shadow, Weather Ball will definitely one-shot. I think a normal Shadow, or normal Abomasnow gets one-shot as well. But we're going to go ahead and shield right here. We want to get the two Weather Balls off so we can get ourselves shield advantage, but I'm going to be a bit risky right here. I do get two shields. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let this next one go through, but we sneak through the fast move. We sneak it through, which means if I shield, I have the energy now for Weather Ball, and they can't take me out. So, we completely take switch advantage right here against a Shadow Abomasnow. Boom! One-shots it. Now, was that the smartest play? I don't think so, because there's a Roserade in the back. So this is going to be a counter sweep. I know my Poliwrath just did work in the previous matchup, but now here against this Roserade, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed with Leaf Storm. Boom! and they also have Weather Ball. This is so bad for me. In hindsight, I should have just saved the shield for Poliwrath instead of shielding the... but we actually have a potential win condition right here. If I can farm down, I don't think I'll be able to, but if I can farm down, I could go for a Flash Cannon against that Roserade in the back. But this is a tough situation where the Lantern has enough damage, even though it is resisted, to basically take out my Ferrathorn. As you guys can see, I'm not going to be able to farm down. In order to take out this Lantern, I have to go Power Whip in order to take it out, which means I don't have enough energy to win on either side. So good game right there. So we did... Poliwrath put in work in the previous game. That game, I got destroyed by a Roserade, but now we have another Walrein on the lead. So a very good matchup for us, and they're deciding to stay in on this one. So we're looking to do that Dynamic Punch damage if we can. We got to be careful about them potentially swapping into a Trevenant to try to catch the charge move. So that's why we also have Ice Punch for that coverage. But we do get a shield with Dynamic Punch, and we're going to go ahead and give up a shield here on the potential Earthquake. Now, it is going to be an Icicle Spear, unfortunately. So we're going to have to overload on energy and go for a Dynamic Punch right away. I need to get these shields out of the way from Walrein, because Ferrathorn can still do well in this matchup if I want it to come in. And I'm going to go ahead and no shield right here. This is a tough call. It could be the Earthquake, but we're going to no shield, and it was another Icicle Spear, which is perfect. Now, they're going to go ahead and go for another one, which is fine by me. Poliwrath can survive this. We are that part water typing. We're water fighting, so we can overload on energy, go ahead and go for a Dynamic Punch. I think I could have gotten away with a couple more mud shots right there, looking in hindsight. But boom, down goes the Walrein. In comes the Trevenant, so we're going to go ahead and swap out right away into Roserade, and in comes a Ferrathorn. Roserade is so excited right here. We're talking about a Trevenant and a Ferrathorn on the back end with Weather Ball, so this is looking beautiful. Now, I'm going to decide to no-shield this, and it was a Power Whip. I was concerned it might have been a Flash Cannon, but now we can just overload on energy right there. I don't think they had enough for Flash Cannon. Looking back, but it was very close, but I decided to let it go because I know my own Ferrathorn could have won that game. But we're going to go ahead and go for Weather Ball now. So Roserade, it's actually coming in clutch. Like, I know Poliwrath has been doing very well for me, but Roserade as well, with the coverage of Weather Ball and Leaf Storm, it's just so good. It's so spammy, and it just one-shots or two-shots most of this whole meta. So good game. All right, moving to the next one, we got Poliwrath on the lead versus Alolan Ninetales. This is tough, and it is going to be a Charm variant, so we have to swap out right away into Roserade, and in comes a Shadow Mawile. And this is beautiful right here for us. I know things look bad, right? Alolan Ninetales with Charm on the lead. Shadow Mawile swap into our Roserade. But what does this do? It frees up the Ferrathorn sweep. So we're going to go ahead and come in with that Poliwrath. We have to watch out for the potential Play Rough, so I will respect that potential damage. I'm going to go ahead and shield, and it is just going to be the Iron Head, which is fine. I'm now going to go ahead and load up to double Dynamic Punch right here because of the typings that we have so far. Ice Fairy on Ninetales, Steel Fairy here on Mawile. Dynamic Punch does neutral damage, and coming from a Shadow Poliwrath as well, it's an incredible and needs to be respected amount. So the Dynamic Punch does land, and we will see the Alolan Ninetales come in, so we're going to go ahead and go for that Dynamic Punch again, and then we're going to swap out right away into our Ferrathorn, as we do get a shield as well, which is huge, and notice that they're staying in. This tells me they might be weak in the back. So we're going to go ahead and give up a shield, thinking Weather Ball might be the hardest hitting move left in the game. We're also going to overload on energy, and sure enough, there's a Lantern back there. Seeing that they didn't swap out right away told me they didn't have an answer for it, so their only play was to try to catch a charge move. That's why I decided to emphasize the overload on energy. That way Lantern can't do anything to me, and now we can just go for a Flash Cannon to close this video out, as Ferrathorn is going to be one-shotting the Alolan Ninetales. Now, we will be hit with a Weather Ball, but we can survive thanks to our typing of Grass Steel right here. It only does neutral, but a Flash Cannon coming through to an unshielded Alolan Ninetales. Boom! See ya! Good game. Very well played. Moving to the next one. That wasn't the last battle. My bad. Electrode. Hisui Electrode on the lead. So this is a tough one. We got to swap into Roserade right away, get ahead on energy, and they're deciding to stay in. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Weather Ball right here. It does super effective damage, and they're deciding to now swap out into Shadow Mawile once again. So we draw it out right here, just like before. where the Ferrathorn is now freed up to close this game out. And it lands! It lands right there. That is so much damage. I thought for sure we were going to get a shield. So now we can come in with Poliwrath and load up on energy. But they don't get to a charge move in time, which means we fully farm down. The Electrode might be coming back in. Let's see. No, it's going to be a Tentacruel right here. So our win condition has revealed itself. It's going to be Ferrathorn with 2 shields to close this game out. So what we're going to do here is go straight for Dynamic Punches. It is resisted against Tentacruel, but look at that. Tentacruel is already below 50% HP. If we combine the Mud Shot super effective damage with the hard-hitting Dynamic Punches, it's a recipe for disaster for this Tentacruel. Now, they decide to go for the Sludge Wave. Boom! I was expecting it to be Acid Spray, but that's okay. Ferrathorn now going to be coming in. They do decide to surrender. Good game, very well played, and that was the final one. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Just a quick one for you all, but Poliwrath and Roserade really impressed me. Poliwrath's and moveset, Dynamic Punch and Ice Punch, great coverage across the meta. Same with Roserade, Weather Ball and Leaf Storm, or you could go for Grass Knot if you want to. I just like the harder hitting Leaf Storm for the big booms, you know what I mean? But overall, really fun team. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.